Hi, everyone. So, who's autistic this week? Nobody asked. I won't give away any spoilers, other than to say the winner of Survivor 50. I will also say that that winner is a deserving winner, in my opinion, and that the three, even four, I think, left in Survivor were all autistic, anyways. So, but the winner was autistic, and I'll just say that finally, somebody that I wanted to win actually won. Thank goodness. And who else is autistic this week? Nobody else asked. Richard Simmons. There was this little documentary I watched on Richard Simmons, and like I knew of him, but I didn't know his story. And I don't think the documentary really, I mean, it wasn't really a documentary, it was just some television thing I think they did. Sorry about the mouth sounds. Um, but yeah, for real, he was autistic. Um, okay, what am I gonna say next? Oh, you guys. Oh, so but just a little warning, not that I think any of the regulars will need one, but this episode, actually the podcast, I think this happened about 3 years ago. So pretty much the first year of the podcast, I don't know, was actually about specific autism stuff. And then now it's just about an autistic life. Oh my God, how sad. No, it's not sad. It's hopefully to be relatable, but I don't have any education to impart. I don't have any wisdom. I just have a bit of a chaotic life that I get on here and share about in the hopes that somebody out there who's autistic finds it relatable and doesn't feel so weird or anything like that. So that's just my update for that. Um, oh, Yesterday was my 4-year autism anniversary, speaking of which. So, which actually is my new birthday. And I've talked about that before. So, 4 years of knowing I'm autistic, it actually feels double that. It feels like so long ago I found out. Um, and I didn't want to, I'm not celebrating the one next week, which is when I turn an age number. Uh, you know, nobody asses. Nobody asses. No, hey, excuse me, Miss. Hold on. Excuse me. Don't eat my fairy lights. Get out of here. This cat and these fairy lights. I know I'm getting autistic. I put these fairy lights up in my little bed tent, and Apollo likes strings, and he's been doing really good with like not going at them too bad, but don't do it while I'm recording. That's just distracting. Please don't do that. Here, pocket treat. Wow. Okay, okay, he's out of there now. I threw him a pocket treat. What was I saying? 4 years, autistic. Okay, sure. So, yeah, I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, Alicia was really nice to me and got us some steak and perdurters, which is my favorite. And we have not had steak in so long. Cause why? There's no point. The prices are so jacked up. Who's eating steak unless like you got some money, you know? So, she got us some ribeyes. They were quite tasty. And she got a cake, some chocolate, a little thing of pre-made, like a fruit cup thing from Wegmans. Um, oh, and she made me a card. And she took like the front, like she took, I don't know how to describe the card. What am I doing? It was a nice celebration, and I am 4 years old in autism awareness. Yay. Okay, moving on. So, something happened, and I thought that I lost my shit and everybody saw, and it actually didn't happen that way. So, last week. Oh, sorry. I don't think I said this. Sorry about no episode last week, which is only going to matter to like the two of you that listen the same day it gets dropped. I didn't do one last week because I was having a hard time um doing recordings or doing like just communicating, talking. Except to my wife. I never seem to have any issues with that, like most of the time, but I was having a hard time like doing any recordings or anything like that. My brain was just a little bit laggy, sort of, in that way. So, I thought about it, I couldn't. So anyways, probably not a big deal, but just in case I didn't want to just seem like, oh, I'm not going to say anything about it. Um, because that's not how I roll. So, anyways, I go to take the trash out and Apollo gets out of the fucking house. Now, we don't have outdoor cats. We don't have a cat flap. They don't go in and out like I know a lot of people do with their cats, primarily because I don't want presents brought inside. And by presents, I mean like dead mouses or even the live ones. I don't want that brought inside. And I would constantly be in a panic because like cats are smart, but also they get hit by cars. And oh my God, no. And then you have to take them to the vet more often. So this is also because I'm super lazy and I'm not about to do that, which also costs more money. And you have to give them like more shots more regularly, I think, or something like that. Like they're not outdoor cats. They get to watch the outdoors from inside the house. And like years ago, we used to take the cats out on walks with like leashes, like those body harnesses. Bitchy loved it. I don't think she can handle it anymore because she's got some arthritis in those old bones, but we used to take them out for walks. But anyways, so they're indoor cats only. And I go to open the door to take the trash out and this motherfucker gets out. So here's what I thought happened. I thought that I was aware of because this was in the middle of the day. This was like, I don't know, like 1 in the afternoon. And there's lots of people home these days, even though it's like post like pandemic stuff. Because lots of people work from home and lots of people just don't work. And anyways, so there's still a lot of people around in the neighborhood at 1 p.m. on like a fucking, what was it, like a Wednesday or something. And I thought I lost my shit. I thought I was like, "Oh my God, get back in the house. No." And then I also remember, do you need to get down too? Okay, hold on. Let me remove this. Please make your way down the chair. Thank you. Sorry. Speaking of bitchy, I guess she doesn't like being talked about while she's still here. She was in the cat tree and she needed to get down, so I moved the mic. Anyways, um, yeah, so I remember having the thought, like, don't get too loud. People could be looking. So I thought that I lost my shit, but like, I don't know. I was pretty embarrassed because I wanted that fucking cat to not leave. Like, oh my God, I was scared. I was like, you motherfucker. I was like, no, this is like my worst nightmare because, like, you know how people talk about their life flashing before their eyes, like before they die? I feel like that's also true if a cat is about to like run out of your life. This is my soul kitty, okay? Like, not that I wouldn't be like, of course I would be like, what the fuck? No. Like, if any other cat got out, but the soul kitty, the golden egg, fuck that. No way. And so then I was like, what the fuck is he trying to do? Escaping the lottery home. He has a lottery life here. Why would he want to leave it? I don't care if you're curious. Watch from the fucking window. So he goes underneath. We have these two wicker egg chairs that are on the porch. And he goes like under those. And so I'm thinking that like I fucking magically scurried over to our porch is pretty big and long. So I thought that I did a mad dash real quick to make sure that he didn't get out of those from under those chairs and then just jump off the porch and like run away. And so he saw me at the end and then he went back the other way. And now he's in front of the door. He's almost about to make it down the steps of the porch and out to the big wide world. And I caught him. and I brought him inside. And then later I told Alicia about it. I was like, "Oh my God, like he fucking like he just darted. He left. He didn't he's it's just like this is what he's always wanted to do." And you know what she thought about that I didn't? She's like, "Oh my God, I would love to see like the recording of that." And I was like, "Oh my God, why didn't I think of that?" Because of the Ring camera that we have, like this has to be on the camera. Why wouldn't I think to, like, go watch that? Like, I don't know. Who does that? I don't think to go watch myself. Um, so then I had this, like, immediate emotion of, like, dread and embarrassment and remembering that the entire neighborhood saw the crazy lady over, in the big house that, it's not a big house just compared to the other houses. We have an upstairs and lots of them don't. Anyways, I don't know why I said that. So I went through my history on my Ring camera and I found it. And do you know what it looked like when I pulled it up? It looked like a calm person who just was like, "Oh, my cat happened to escape the house. Let me go get him." And I didn't do any screaming. I didn't say, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" like I thought I did. I didn't do some mad dash at the end of the porch. I just like slowly sauntered over there, like, no big deal. And then I was like, what the fuck? Why do I remember it like the complete opposite? I don't know. Like, I guess I was that. I must have just been that aware of like the potential of other people like perceiving me and like watching me lose my shit that I really just doubled down and like pulled out the mask from like my childhood and put that old crusty thing on and it worked. And nobody knew that I was just freaking the fuck out. Weird. It was weird. It was like nothing bad happened. Oh my God. That was a weird experience to like watch something happen that you thought went a different way. And it's you. It's you. It was you the whole time. Your brain. How did I remember it? It was weird. Does that make sense? Gonna move on now. Um, but suffice to say, I triple look before I go out the door, and when I come back in, I look down at the ground as I open the door to make sure no cat gets out. Y'all are trapped, motherfuckers. So, next is perhaps I should take a sip of some water. Not that it'll help. Hopefully it does. Okay, so Alicia makes homemade pizza. I'm pretty sure I've been on here bitching about it before. How like sometimes when she cooks food I poop. And I'm talking about like right away. And I chalk it up to must just be the ingredients or something. But then I think about no, I eat those things too, like in other ways. So that can't be it. So basically, like, um, I'm having Alicia show me how to make a few more things that she likes to eat because so that she doesn't have to make her dinner like every night. Because I used to do it a lot and then I did it a little and then I just stopped doing it because I really don't like cooking. And then I was like, I really would like to at least take some of those dinners away from her because she works hard. And it's the least I can do from like, I work from home and my life is a hell of a lot easier compared to hers. So she taught me how to make homemade pizza, which it sounds very easy and it actually is, but I don't cook. I don't like making things like this. So in my mind, it's like there's like I don't it's hard. I don't know how to make it and you need to show me and so she shows me how to make the pizza the way that she likes to make it, very simple, right? And so then I pinned her down. I was like, "Now if you want me to make you your pizza cuz she loves her homemade pizza and she gets on kicks with it sometimes too, which she'll have like one a week." And I said, if I'm going to make this, I really need you to give me a time for the oven, not check it after 10 minutes or wait for it to turn golden brown. I don't want any of that shit. I want a fucking time. And I want the time to be after the beep because this bitch puts shit in the oven all the time. And as soon as she turns it on, she puts stuff in there and then fucking has to check it like 5 times to make sure it's done. And I'm like, what a waste of getting up and like just time in general. I'm like, they give you oven times for a fucking reason so that you don't do this. You just have to be patient enough to wait for the fucking beep to let you know it's at temperature. Like, how does the non cook here at least know how to adhere to this rule? Like, what? So she did it. I was surprised. She just threw out 25 minutes. I was like, okay, 400 on the stove. Wait for it to beep. 25 minutes. Voila, the pizza should be done. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's just hope she's like close to accurate on this time because I don't know if she is. So I pulled it out after 25 minutes, and what did she know? It was fucking cooked all the way through. And I was hungry enough that I had a piece, and I was like, wow, like would I make things like, when people make you food, it always tastes better than when you make it, in my opinion. And so I was surprised at how good I tried a piece. I was like, "Oh, this is actually like really good." And I was like, maybe it's because I'm like really hungry. But no. Oh, if you hear rustling in the background, Apollo is on the floor playing with that brown paper that comes with packages that get sent in the mail. You know, like the paper that they stuff up to like he likes to play with it. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. Um Anyways, it was good. And so like we're sitting there and I'm like trying to understand like why the fuck does this piece of pizza taste this good to me? And then I figured it out that the dough was cooked all the way through. It clicked in my mind because whenever she made homemade pizza and would give me a piece, I'd have to shit my brains out like 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later. I'm like, this is weird. And I never connected the dots. And then I connected the dots. I was like, you don't cook your dough all the way through. That's what the fuck it is. She starts laughing. And I'm like, because when you're eating pizza, it's hard to tell sometimes that the dough isn't completely cooked because you got the sauce and it's hot and the cheese, like it covers that up a little bit. And I didn't know. So then I figured it out because I had no shits after I ate my pizza. Sorry about all the pooping I seem to like talking about, but and so she laughed and she thought it was funny. I was like, this ain't funny. I was like, bitch, you need to cook your food all the way through. That's the point of like oven time being accurate, you know? Cook your fucking food. Oh my God. So, anyways, I made pizza for the first time and I didn't shit. So, there's that. Also, and I told her I would be talking about her. So, here's some Alisha logic, okay? I love my wife, but we joke because like my meltdowns in the early days of our relationship, um, they worked. I just thought they were temper tantrums and that when I threw one, I got what I wanted. Like one time I got her to go to Walmart in the middle of the night to get me a fucking air conditioner. I wasn't even really trying for that. I'm not even going to talk about that incident because it's embarrassing and I know it's in some episode I did. So I've been just if you might have heard of it about it, but I got her to do that and I wasn't even consciously trying to manipulate her, but I realized looking back that I was actually like wanting her to go get an air conditioner. I just didn't think it was actually going to happen. So we joke about how easy it was for me to manipulate her in the early times of our relationship. And I joke right back and I'm like, "Hey, I thought you were a very logical person, but sometimes like your logic actually doesn't make sense and it seems like it's more placating than not." And so I would throw some of that back in her face. And so then sometimes things like this happen where I talked about how I don't mow, which actually I think I'm gonna just start doing that again. I have a hard time with the control thing. Like it's not like you must mow after 5 days and the grass gets this tall and you must measure it. And if it's past this amount, oh no, how dare you? Like, I'm not like a fucking freak like that. I'm just like, she tends to be okay with the grass getting very, very hairy and everybody else's isn't. Like, I'm not saying we gotta go mow when everybody else does. No, but like, days go by after everybody else mows and you're still not mowing and then we look like really hairy. So I have a hard time with like, when are you gonna mow there? Hey, thanks for offering to take this on for me so that I don't have to worry about getting queasy all the time. But when are you gonna mow? And we just are different people with different standards. And then we both agreed to that. So her logic is, and she actually said it like this. She's like, look, other people's grass gets taller, and that's okay. And you have to be okay with it. And you know what I said? I said, bitch, fuck you. I was like, do not even try to cram that shit down my throat. Are you serious with that? I was like, that is not logic. That's what you say to a fucking 5-year-old. I was like, I'm not 5, you asshole. So I guess I might just be doing some of the mowing again. And she can't stop me because she'll be at work. Sorry, guys. I just can't. I can't let us be the hairiest house. Now, here's my logic. I just gonna have to tell on myself. My logic, which actually makes sense to me, because like 3 days prior to that discussion, she had gone out and weeded the front and the sorry if I'm like yelling. The paper is so loud in this room right now. He's like going to town down there. Dude, why did I leave this paper in here? So, anyways, she weeded like a few days before that chat, and it looks really good out front. And we tend to be not that great with weeding in my mind, okay? So like in my mind, mowing comes first. Everybody knows that you're supposed to mow your lawn. That's just kind of like a neighborhood. Everybody knows, mow your lawn. Don't be the one that sticks out and makes the neighborhood look like shit. But that, weeding is optional because that takes more work, more effort, more time. Not everybody has it. So if people don't weed, it's kind of expected, like, oh, okay, whatever. That's how I thought that people thought about mowing and weeding. Unleash doesn't seem to think so, and she's probably right, I guess. What do I know? But that's how I thought. I was like, you have to fucking mow. You don't have to fucking weed, but you have to fucking mow. I don't know. She has an ADHD brain. I have an autistic brain. So those are like oil and water. And so, anyways, we agreed that our logic isn't the greatest. So and then this is the last thing I want to say about this is she's been skipping her meds. So like we have those meds boxes, you have the Monday or the Sunday, there's 7 days. The 7 days for the AM and then the 7 days for the PM, like the little slots where you put your pills in. We've been using those for years, like for supplements, for all kinds of, the psych meds, and I'm the one that does them every week. So she doesn't have to worry about them. I've noticed the last like several weeks, oh, I need more water. Okay. I've noticed the last several weeks that like every week she's been missing like at least a day or a night of meds, which is weird because it's built into her routine. There's no reason why she should be missing her meds. Then it's increased to she missed like 2 days, 2 weeks in a row. So I pointed out, I was like, look, what's going on here? Like, you went from taking your meds for years, every single day, every single night, to now you're skipping. Like, what's going on? And she's like, I don't know. It was just last week. And I was like, no, I've been tracking this. Okay, hold on. Can you go up? Go somewhere, please. I have to use the mic. This fucking cat. Can you just sit and just chill out, please? Oh my God. It's the paper cat. Apollo. Okay, so anyways, where was I? Oh, Apollo. You made me lose my thought. Meds. Okay. So anyways, so she thinks that she's only missed like a week or two, and I'm like, bitch, it's been weeks, okay? Like, and I've dropped a comment here or there, but like I'm sitting you down now and I'm telling you, you need to take your meds. Like there's meds you can't miss. You need to take your meds. So what's happening? That all of a sudden your routine is not your routine every day? And so she's like, okay. Okay, we already had that chat. And so she goes to bed, or right before she goes to bed, I'm like, "Did you take your meds?" And she's like, "I did." And I'm like, okay. So then it's like, I don't know, hours later, I happen to be out in the kitchen and I'm looking at the counter and I see that she did not take that night's meds. I was like, what the fuck? And I had just done meds that day. So all the slots were filled. Nothing had been taken, right? And I was like, what the fuck meds did she take? Because I keep my box in my room because I'm always back here. And so the next day, or what did I do? No, I sent her a text that night for her to answer when she woke up. I'm like, yeah, so I'm looking through your box and like you didn't take your meds. So what happened? She wrote back, she's like, I took my meds. And I'm like, oh my God, why do I have to do so much work to prove the fucking truth to my wife? Okay, you're gonna go back down? Go back down. Go play with your paper. God, dude. This is definitely my cat because he just wants to do all the things all the time. Okay, so anyways, so this is what I did when I got up like a few days ago is I took a fucking video. So I videoed, I said, here's your box of medication. And I showed her all the things that were full. And I showed her the prior night's meds. I was like, here's your medication. Your meds are here. You did not take your fucking meds. I was like, what did you take? What meds are you taking? So I looked around the counter. There was an almost empty bottle of magnesium because I leave the bottles out to remind me to replenish them. I was like, did you take magnesium? What'd you take? Because you didn't take your meds. And so I'm thinking, finally, I got you, bitch. Here's proof. Proof! And you know what she texts back? Haha, whatever. What the fuck? Haha, whatever. Well, this mystery has not been solved. What meds did you take? I need to have closure to this. We don't know the answer to that. So I'm just going to chalk it up to she took some extra magnesium that night. Sorry, I was like, how are you gonna downplay and just laugh off the fact that your brain fucked up big time? Oh, whatever. What the fuck? I would want to know. What did I take? Oh no, I'd be worried. And I don't get this. I don't get it. But anyways, who's got better logic? Probably neither of us. Um, and then what else did I have? Oh, okay. So you guys, if you've been listening to me all along, obviously thank you. I've been thanking you a lot, but I really, really do mean it. Also, I'm really serious when I'm asking for like messages from people. And so apparently, when you go to the doctor, you actually get a choice as to whether or not there's a witness. What? Did any of you know this and not tell me? Because I could have used that information. I'm not blaming you, but I'm just pointing out that, like, that's how serious these requests for messages are because I didn't get a single one. Apparently, you can have a choice as to whether or not there's a witness in some of these doctor's appointments, and I didn't know this. So, like, I had a hysterectomy. This is just for, like, the first, if anybody's new here, I had a hysterectomy. Um, God, like June, July, August, like, I don't know, less than 6 months after I found out that I'm autistic, I had a hysterectomy. And because I had like a growth, it was benign, but I had a growth on my ovary. And the doctor was just because I told her, if you feel like you need to just remove everything to be on the safe side, then go for it, when you're in there looking around. And I woke up and I found out I had a hysterectomy, and I am forever grateful for that doctor for doing that for me because my life is great now. It doesn't sound it all the time, but oh my God, compared to what it was before. So, anyways, after you have something like that done, you have to have 5 years of follow ups every 6 months, where they have to do a cooter check, is what I call them, to make sure things feel normal up in there. Where the ovaries, I don't know how they check things or look at things or whatever. So you just have to go back to make sure nothing new is I don't know, just to make sure you're still gonna be okay, you know what I mean. I don't know how to explain the science of that, but you have to do 5 years of it. So if 5 times 2 is 10, and then you tack on a couple of extras. So like we're talking maybe 12, 13 visits tops post hysterectomy. before you're deemed, like, okay, we're in the clear. Nothing is gonna grow in you anymore. No grow. I don't know how. Actually, I'm confused. Like, if you don't have your ovaries, how can any new growths happen? So I don't know. They must know what they're doing, checking whatever. So I'm year 4 into the 5 years. I think that was my eighth visit. And so I show up there. Sorry about all the dancing around this topic. So me and Alicia get there, right? I'm thinking I'm seeing my normal doctor. And no, once again, it wasn't her. This is happening more frequently. I saw her maybe 3 times in a row, and then it's hit or miss if I see her. And I don't like that. I just want the fucking doctor that I've had. And then nobody bothers to tell you, hey, by the way, there's going to be a different one today. Are you okay coming in? Like, they don't want to do that because they want their fucking money for the insurance and la 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 la. So I just get so pissed at this because I hate it. I don't want a new person. Like, why can't you just give us the option of coming in or not? So I find out at the desk and I'm like, God, here we go again. I just don't like having new people. So I'm thinking I have to deal with that. And then, so we get back there, and, the technician came in and did the blood pressure bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And then the doctor lady comes in, and I'm like, I don't know this one, never seen her before. And so I don't even want to be there. Okay. This is like the lady doc appointment. I don't want to be there, but I kind of have to be, sort of. So she sits down and she starts talking to me like I'm a child, not even joking. Hi, how are you? Call that talking to a child, call that like your customer service voice, whatever. And she is just looking for the obvious thing to talk about, which is my tattoos, because they're everywhere. And she asks me about them, and I wasn't expecting that question. I'm like, what the fuck? So the first thing that she asks, like, oh, I don't know what comment she made, but I just like, oh, I got a lot of them in the military. And then I immediately regretted saying that because she's like, oh, you were in the military? And she had pulled up a chair and sat right in front of me and was like, we were getting ready to have like this serious conversation. And I'm pretty sure I might have rolled my eyes as I was looking away because I had the thought of like, is she fucking serious? Because she's like, you were in the military? And so I know that, like, okay, so you want to talk before anything happens about my life? I'm not here to fucking talk about my life. And I'm pretty sure that that read across my face. And because what? Later on, Alicia tells me that apparently a lot of people prefer this tiny talk bullshit before the doctor examines your cooch because it makes them feel more comfortable or something? Sure, I guess I can understand that. But I'm not one of those people. I just want to get this over with. And so a miracle happened, you guys. A miracle happened. All of a sudden, she read the room. Never in my life have I had a medical professional read the room so incredibly quickly. She got up from her swivel chair, pushed it back, and she's like, okay, she's like, let's get down to business. I can tell like you just want to kind of like get this done with and da da da. And I'm like, yes, yes, thank you. And I perked up a little bit. I was like, okay. And so she's like, I'm just gonna go get so and so. And I'm pretty sure my face got sad again. And she saw it and she's like, oh, no, okay, that's okay. That's we don't have to do that. Um, and was about to proceed with the appointment with just herself in there, and I sat straight the fuck up and I was like, that's a choice? To have a witness as a choice? I think I screamed it because she bursts out laughing. Alicia starts laughing. Um I am like legit shocked. I was like, are you telling me that this entire time I didn't have to have some rando come in here like with, and she's like, it's a choice. You don't have to have another person. She's like, and I understand why there are, I call them witnesses because, like, we all know why they're in there. Um, you know, Nothing nefarious must happen. But I don't know. I guess I just thought it was like a mandatory thing. Somebody must have told me that sometime throughout my life. I don't know. I got into my head that that's just, that's just something that like has to happen. And over the years, so this is like I said, year 4 of this, Alicia has been in all of these appointments. You mean to tell me she's nobody to you? That's a fucking witness. That's an extra person. But like, I get it. It's somebody you know, and if things really came to you want somebody neutral, but then is the chaperone neutral if it's somebody that also works with a doctor? Like, do you guys know what I'm insinuating here? I hope you do. Um, so the doctors don't like do some like dirty things like touch you and stuff, and like, you need to have somebody as a witness sort of. Or at least you needed to. Or I guess I don't know. I don't know. I always thought it was like a mandatory thing that all hospitals did, that were like, you know what, we're just gonna like tamp this down. Everybody gets a witness so that everybody feels safe. I don't fucking know. I was shocked because it's my fucking luck that I make it to 4 years of 5 years of something to find out that, like, and that's in that moment is when I realized that is why I don't like these appointments. The worst thing about these appointments isn't necessarily the cooter check for me. It's the rando standing in the background looking at my cooch while the doctor's inspecting. It's just why? And they're not always handing utensils to the doctor or doing anything helpful. They're just standing there and looking. And I'm sorry, but like, what? Why? That's the worst part. And I didn't know that that is actually the worst part for me until that very moment when I realized I had like a choice. Like, I don't have to have them. And I keep talking about this because that's how mind blowing it was to me. I fucking hate having. I mean, I can't. I'm an adult. I can go to a doctor. I know why they're doing the thing they're doing. I understand the purpose of it, but I don't like the rando in there. They're not a part of this appointment. Oh my God. So that was the best lady doctor appointment I have ever had. And when we went to do the checkout and I had to schedule the next appointment in 6 months, I tried to see if I could get this lady, but didn't go. They didn't go for it. So it sounded like she was just helping out and wasn't gonna be there regularly. And I'm like, whatever. Cause she was funny after that. She made jokes. Like she was just making like hilarious jokes, and it was totally inappropriate, but like that's how, when I was like, this lady has got to be autistic. She was probably just doing what she thought that everybody probably wants, which is the tiny talk bullshit so they feel comfortable, and I don't want that. And she figured it out and she rolled with it. Oh my God, she deserves an award. So no fucking cooter clowns in the background no more. And i guess I guess I'm a little bit like not surprised that I had to go 4 years. This is just my life. Like, I find out like the good stuff toward the end of something, when I had spent the entire time doing the not so good stuff when I didn't have to, and nobody told me otherwise. So anyways, that was the best visit I've ever had in my entire life. Just the fact that she read the room, she was, because I'm pretty sure I wasn't really nice to her at the beginning, and I do feel bad about that. But like, I was just kind of thrown off that that's the direction she was going in. Because the other one didn't do that. So if I have to show up to any more of these appointments and they're not be my regular doctor, I would like it to be her. So, in case there's anybody out there that didn't know, now you know. Apparently, it's a choice. Okay, that's all I gotta say. What time did I spend? Oh my God, 40 minutes? Thanks for listening. I try to keep these like shorter, but I guess that's what happens when you skip an episode 1 week. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that this was relatable. Um Come find me over on Substack. I got some links in wherever you find the notes for this show about like I have a book for you. Why do I do this at the end? I'm just gonna go now. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye. Bye.